Good day, everyone. Today on the internet, I'm gonna be bitching with Bennie. This is the motherfucker over here that I met through Liz Reptile's meat flappening stream, who was posting the dankest of dank memes, who literally made me almost piss myself laughing. This motherfucker right here. You can see why.
Yes.
So what's good, Bennie?
Well, I was gonna do my usual eat cereal while jacking off, but I decided to take a break from that.
I see. Raisin Bran or Fruit Loops?
I eat Frosted Flakes, the high quality.
Oh, I see. You like to frost the flakes a little bit more, huh?
I frost them with my flakes.
That sounds exceptionally crab-like, but we'll go on with it.
But I'm a good chef.
Good, good. I'm sure your connoisseurs of your cuisine really appreciate the bit of pube dandruff.
Oh yes. Mm. Oh
Just
yeah.
just adds a little bit of spice, huh?
A little bit of the spicy memes.
So I take it you watch Filthy Frank, right? You're a follower of Papa Franku,
Papa Franco.
so I'll take that as a yes. Good shit. Good shit. He's he's probably one of the funniest dank memers on the interwebs, I have to say.
Oh damn right.
What?
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, really. So me, I've just been playing some Digimon World. I fired up that nostalgia machine, got my emulator running. Pretty good shit. It feels like I'm back in my 10 years old phase. Not gonna lie. It's been fucking
What?
forever. What?
What? You fucking gay?
Uh, occasionally.
Whatever. $20 this, $20.
$20 is $20. Have you seen the fucking Photoshop thing where they they did the poor fucking Indian kids with that? Uh, I kind of want to include that in this video, but I don't want to get a copyright or something. It was fucking terrible. Uh, fucking excellent, mate. All right, so let's tear into some politics. You said earlier that you're more of a centrist on most subjects, and as most of my viewers would perhaps guess, especially if they follow me over on the Twitters, I'm more of a left-leaning centrist myself. So, give me a few of your baseline political views. Let's say regarding the 2016 election.
Well, I mean, I re- honestly I was supposed to vote, but I did forget to register. But if I did actually vote, I would have voted for Trump, honestly, because some of his policies like are all right for most parts, but even though that half of them he can't really do, he does want to do better since with our economy at this point, since we're like about $4 trillion in debt. I feel like he might help us since he is a businessman, so he could possibly help us.
I don't know, man. Personally, I slept through the vote. I was gonna vote, but uh, I got busy. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Um, so I kind of slept through that. I was gonna write in Bernie because I figured if my vote was going to get effectively wasted anyways, voting either way on Hillary or Trump, because neither of them are really gonna get anything done. Even if I agreed with what they were doing,
Right.
it might as well go to somebody I actually supported. And I really quite like Bernie. He really encapsulates a lot of the qualities that I would hope for in a president. Whereas the handbag reptile that is Hillary, who is just an empty suit, makes me want to die inside. And the walking, talking, rotting orange pisses me off because he's just a right-leaning, pretty much equally corporatist, but he hasn't had the opportunity to make all of the moves that Hillary has that have fucked over the people kind of guy.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on like if I had to choose between Hillary and Trump, I would be forcefully had to vote for Trump because with Hillary, there's so much
Oh yeah.
backlash that she has and what she's done with her life. She with most of the things she says, she only has done it to gain the popular vote.
Oh, absolutely. You can look at her record and polling at the time, and she basically votes to the polls. It's pretty
Exactly.
despicable. It really is.
Especially with the LGBT. Wait, it was like around 2004. She
Oh
said that
yeah.
she wasn't an advocate for like gay marriage, and now she says it like
Oh
about
yeah, I
like
want the
2014.
gays to do it in their respective holes. It's all good
Yes.
with me. Have my vote. Vote for me. I'm with her.
Well, see, here's the thing with the election. Most people voted for Hillary just solely on the base that Hillary is a woman. That's why people voted for Hillary. They didn't care about the policies. They didn't care about what she wanted to do. It's just like, oh, she's a woman. I need to vote for her. This is for equality and blah 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 and all that.
You know, I think that really appealed to the feminist base of hers. But the people outside of that, it only really just uh, put a hot poker in their craw. Really put a stick of dynamite up their ass.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I, for anybody that's not already in this PC police bullshit with just advocating for women just because they're women, not because of what they actually do or their equality of opportunity, which I think should be a human right for everyone regardless of their sex, race, etc. Um, it really just pisses people like me off and people who are of this sort. Uh, and really, whenever you look into her actual policies, it does not help, not at all. To see her run on such a superficial grounds, like she already has image problems with being superficial. This did not help at all.
Yeah, yeah, really. But I really didn't like care about the presidential debate at this point. I wasn't really focused on that. I was more focused on since I am a smoker of the marijuana. I was hoping that it would be legalized in Massachusetts, which it did.
Good stuff. Good shit.
That was like what everyone was really cared about in my state.
Well, if I'm being frank, you didn't miss much. It was a real shit show, all three of the debates. It was
Oh yeah,
basically, hey, look how bad the other candidate is. Look how good I am. Look at
I'm
me.
better than the other.
Choose the lesser of two evils. Vote for me.
I
It,
have money, vote for me.
it that was what both of them were saying effectively. It
I have more
was
disposable income.
it was sad, man. It
It
was sad.
is.
Uh,
No, the only thing that's really sad is the protest at this point.
oh yeah, the people who are going out and burning shit just because oh no, the president I didn't want to be in power is here.
I like how both of them said like they would accept the results of the election, and now they just contradict themselves by demanding recounts.
As is expected. I don't expect anything less of these ideologically fueled buffoons.
Exactly. And like the thing is, Massachusetts is a blue state
Yeah, yeah.
where in my small town we're all most of them are Republican.
Same here, mate. Uh, yeah. I've heard that it's mostly because Democrats didn't go out and vote.
Well, yeah, because they listened to all the articles that's like, oh, Hillary's sure thing she's gonna win, and then like no one was like, and then everyone was just like, what's the point of voting if she's going to win? What's the point?
Well, there's also the point that she does not synergize, she does not inspire, she does not rally her party in the least. She is perhaps the least invigorating presidential candidate that I've ever seen, that I've ever heard of.
Exactly, and not only that, even in like the physical aspect, I mean,
Oh yeah.
literally every single rally that she was been at, she looked like she kept on coughing. She's not like we thought like she was gonna die half of the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she looked like she was just about to fall over, and she did a couple times. So
Especially at the 9/11 memorial service
yeah,
thing.
yeah. When they
How
had to,
she had to be escorted to the car and she kept stumbling from quote
yeah,
unquote heat stroke.
right. Yeah, they literally had to pick her up and throw her in the car, basically.
it,
It was,
it was just a sad election this time.
it
Really
really
was.
was. And I think it's really done is go to prove that uh, there is in fact a real money window, a very very thin slit, of which those who already have establishment and power and have precedent in their positions of leadership amongst the United States government and our political hemisphere uh, are the only ones who really have a chance, at least thus far. Hopefully, with the populist support that Trump rallied significantly, even though I think it was to the wrong causes, severely wrong causes, and
Right.
the kind that Bernie did, because he really amped it up to 11, and Hillary tried to do vaguely and failed miserably. Uh, there might very well be a third party or open party election system coming in the very near future, especially with Jill Stein's stunt right now. I think the recount is absolutely retarded and it'll do nothing. Mostly because a lot of these.
It doesn't hold anything because we have electoral colleges for a reason. Because if we just based everything on popular vote, it would have been like shit like it would have been like internet poll style.
Yeah.
Like everything was just based on popularity. And that's not what our democracy it really is.
Well, it's not a democracy, it's a democratic republic. Now, I would say that I'm definitely not in favor of an electoral college in its current state. I really find the fact that essentially political powers can appoint anybody and everybody that they want to be an electoral college member. Just because. There's no real process as far as I'm aware. Uh, I think they should really be elected by the people of their localities. I think
Indeed.
that I think that's a far more democratic republic solution, whereas the current
Right.
is really quite open to corruption by its very nature.
I I can see with that because I mean, if you think about it, the United States is really more of a like a capitalist type of system.
Oh, absolutely, by its very nature, and that's been a big issue for a long time. We've essentially allowed corporate powers and centers of wealth to accumulate and accrue influence in our system from the ground up. We've essentially made everything, every real seat of political power, have the requisite of having some sort of sponsor, be it local constituents who expect something in return that might not be the best overall, or special interest groups which are lobbying for influence. from your regional bodies to governances to the Senate and House, all the way up to the judges and president, etc., etc. We've really ingrained and entwined the two, and I think that is inherently a corrupting force.
Mhm.
What?
Like, my only like real like problem with like the outcome of like this election is how much of reaction of an overreaction everyone is having with Trump being president. Like, I can see that like they may not like him, but that doesn't give anyone the real reason to go out and destroy your city because of it.
Yeah, all it does is make their side look bad and destroy their localities. It literally hurts them directly because they have less people willing to invest. The local stocks go down in that area. Businesses don't seek to invest there because of the political upset and civil unrest, especially if it goes on for a long time. And it makes people fearful of their fellow countrymen. That's the exact opposite of what you want. Right now, we have a severe, severe dissent and disunity. We have, I've heard, a 50-50 split of, uh, of ideologies, left leaning and right leaning, to quite a significant polar opposite. Uh, and what we need, at least right now, is more of that, especially when violence is involved.
Like, I'm okay with like if you're going to peacefully protest, fine, do that. But if it involves you disrupting several things, destroying areas because of your political standpoint, then you're doing protesting completely wrong.
Exactly. All it makes you look like is a complete bunch of terrorists who need to be put down. And it completely invalidates any message you wish to carry on.
And one of the problems I always have is like with like their tactics. Like, one of the things that honestly like annoys me is when they would like stand on like highways and block the flow of traffic, and like next thing you know they start getting run over. I'm like, what are you going to expect?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
not only there was an article that came out where a woman lost her child who was choking and was going to the hospital, and these protesters stopped her from going, and the child unfortunately passed away.
Yep. They're technically liable for manslaughter there. All these demonstrations do, which inconvenience your fellow countrymen and women, is make you look like a dick, put you out there to get harmed, and uh, really just completely sweep away any message you might wish to impart. It has the negative opposite effect of what you would wish you were having.
Like, there's a right way to send a message, and then there are wrong ways to do it, and that's
Uh,
what people are doing nowadays.
Absolutely. And I would dare say that perhaps rioting is obsolete in this time, where we have the internet, where we have outlets, where we have internet soapboxes, where we can spread our word and spread our message and try to make real political change. Riots these days are only a nuisance to everyone involved.
These like people are not doing it for a cause. They're causing more of a situation that there is to be resolved. They're
Exactly.
causing more problems than there are for people.
Exactly. The more uh, protest you evoke from a crowd, the more likely you are to simply inconvenience or even harm denizens of your local nation and state and city and town, etc., to a more and more granular level, depending on how widespread it is. When you do these things, they have extremely little effect. All they are is a headline in the modern era, I would say. I think perhaps the more interesting and uh, politically intriguing thing, the more weighty option here would be to actually rally behind a message and create political and social movement towards whatever effect you seek, whether it's justified or not. That's simply the de facto best way to go about it. Rioting in the streets, blocking highways, destroying local businesses and buildings, etc., is the exact opposite way to produce whatever effect you want.
Like there's a peaceful protest where say like how the whole Colin Kaepernick type of situation where he would kneel during the national anthem or whatever. Like that is that's like peaceful, but people have like such big reactions to it.
Of
But
course.
that's peaceful. Not he did not like go out. He Colin Kaepernick did not like go right to the flag and start burning it and then like dance around it. Like he didn't do that. He just did it peacefully.
But even if he
But
did, it's his right. It's his right of expression. He's not harming anyone, and there's no law against it. It's the land of the free, and to try and inflict a, a ban on burning the flag is perhaps the most hypocritical action you can commit as a nation who's supposed to be founded on freedom.
exactly. Like I don't really have a problem with the flag burning. It's just like like I just have a personal connection with it because like my family has been some of my family members have been to war
Right.
and like they did like stand for the flag and what it means. But and I have like a personal connection with it because it's the flag that like I grew up, saluting, pledging, and all that. And that's just coming from I'm not a very
Patriotic person.
I'm not a very like a patriotic type of person, but I mean, it's kind of disrespectful to desecrate something that's such a symbol to where you live. You do have a lot of freedoms and with it where you're from. You have the freedom to do that. Most other countries now don't even have the freedom to express themselves. They should really be lucky that they live in a place where they can do that because if they were somewhere else, they would have probably been dead by now at this point.
Well, to be fair, there are quite a few other countries with such freedom laws. Now, you might not be able to get away with it if you're doing it in a mass crowd, say on a public square, just as you wouldn't in the United States, I don't think.
Exactly.
You would most likely get mobbed to death, here or in another country, especially one with a more authoritarian, fascistic sort of political landscape. But personally, I have no connection. In fact, if I look up to my upper right, I have a white flag overhead. Personally, I'm anti-nationalist. My loyalty rests not with just the nation. The nation is important because it's our center of civilization. It's the organizational body by which we live under, and I'll help it if it benefits the people. But ultimately, my loyalty rests with the pen and the man, not any sole nation. And my family members, several of them too, have went to war. Uh, Personally, I feel next to no connection to it, and it's this being the middle South. We have quite an emphasis on respecting our country and saluting it and following all the decorum and all of that good stuff. But personally, that's only really turned me away from it. It's almost cult-like, I feel. What's that
Uh,
is?
Right. Yeah. How about we kind of like? Well, how can we? How about we kind of like change the subject a little bit? Let's talk about a little bit of the PC culture and how much of a cancerous nuisance it is nowadays.
Well, there's quite a bit to talk about on that front, that's for sure.
Indeed, indeed.
On both the left and the right, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, you have no idea.
Oh, boy, do I. Living in the Bible Belt, I can tell you one thing. There's a lot of things you cannot say without at least it crossing someone's mind. I should put a slug in that boy. Uh, but yeah, what are some of the recent things on the feminist side of things? They're always a good source of shit talking.
Well, there is the whole fucking
Whole
queer
fucking,
kids
I like
thing.
that.
That's uh,
Nothing. Continue.
there is this one person that I do have sort of it's been kind of a little a nuisance in my side. The YouTube channel Queer Kids Stuff.
I've heard about that.
Oh, it makes me want to put a bullet in my head. Honestly,
Yeah, they do go a bit overboard.
they
I,
do. Especially that fucking teddy bear. Fuck
I
Teddy.
personally, I haven't watched any of the actual videos, so please do enlighten me.
It's basically the channel is basically like showing like the leftist ideology and trying to teach it to children. Like there's the whole fucking gender type things that like there's boy and a girl,
I
and then
recall
there's other
this.
genders and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I've watched Suit Yourself's video regarding this. I believe he played the one I think on bisexuality, maybe, or perhaps it was Obale. I can't recall, but
Was like the chalkboard in the background was it LG like QT or something like that.
sorry, cancer.
Well, with that, I was beyond pissed when I heard the fucking teddy bear go. So doctors can be wrong sometimes.
I think that might have been the one.
It hurt. It's so no like
The
doctors. Kids are supposed to trust their doctors. They're supposed to. And when you cram this ideology where like I don't have a problem if you're male, female, if you're transitioning or whatever, fine, do
same.
that, but you can't force feed this ideology to children because children are like sponges. They absorb information, and when
Exactly.
you do this, they just gotta think that like, oh, I have to be like this so I can be accepted.
Exactly. It creates an in crowd. And I think the most despicable thing here is, especially with the comment regarding the doctors can be wrong thing, is that it is indeed a half truth. Yes, humans are indeed fallible. They can be incorrect at times, and doctors are not immune from this. They're not infallible. But at the same time, you must, as they are professionals who are entrusted with your care, to a certain degree, give them your uh, 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 insurance that you will do as instructed, so long as it's within reason. And to
Well,
try and inject some sort of leftist gender politics special snowflake bullshit is not a good thing.
it's not. And
Especially
like
when you Sorry.
Oh, well, like one of the things that like also annoys me was like when Lindsay, that was that was the woman's name.
Uh,
She goes that like when the doctor assigns your birth, it's not he's not assigning your gender. He's telling you you are a boy or a girl. You
exactly.
yes, it is true that that you can like be male and female, or if you're trans, you can transition from one to the other. But there's their extent. You can't you can't be neutral or be genderless because it doesn't make logical sense to anyone.
It simply doesn't exist. The closest you'll come
Exactly.
to this is being intersex, and most people are they suffer quite a great deal of inconvenience at the least, and impracticality oftentimes because of this. And even then, most of the time, children are assigned to the most fitting sex through surgery, because again, it's simply not practical.
Correct.
There is no non-binary. There is no fluidity. There is no real room for it. Now, of course, they may grow up to be transgendered, and that's all good and fine. But they should certainly be matured before they make this decision for themselves.
They need to be like it needs to be extent like if you're 18 years old or you're around like in high school, like say junior senior year, and you start figuring out life and how you want to live it, fine, completely fine. But if you're between the ages of like 5, 6, or 7, and and like these people are trying to cram this information in you, then that's where I draw the line, because children need to be children. They need to have fun because the world is not all sunshine and rainbows. It's a mean, nasty place.
Of
S-
course.
just let the kids have fun for what little time they might have when they grow up.
Exactly. It's it's really a quite despicable thing to try and inject these grandiose, far-reaching, highly implicating subjects to children who have no real understanding at all. It really, really does tamper with their perception of reality and the self, what little they do have.
Just give me a quick sec. I'm gonna run real quick to get a drink. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, friend.
All right, now I already forgot where were we at?
We were discussing the introduction of gender politics to children,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in terms of transgenderism.
Um, well, I do have, I have trans friends. I love them to death. I will respect their wishes where if they want to be called, male, I will call them by that. If they want to be called like a female, I will respect that. But I draw the line where they go with the pronouns they or xer or like that. I draw the line.
Exactly. They're simply nonsense phrases. They're just attempts at putting some sort of social frosting on your the cake that is you. It's extremely unnecessary. And really all it serves to do is complicate interactions with someone.
And one of the other problems I also have is the gender fluidity, which is like they can change their gender depending on what they feel like, and that does not no, because
Exactly.
it doesn't work like that. That's not how. gender works. Gender is not a social construct. Gender is based on biology and
Exactly.
is not a social construct.
But I would stop you there. Because as one who has a gender fluid friend, as unfortunate as their attachment to that belief is, uh, they describe it as gender being separate from sex. You are born biologically one thing, and your gender is simply your perception of yourself, whether masculine or feminine, which I think is absolutely nonsense and retarded. Uh, they separate the two and uh, effectively claim that they can become more masculine or feminine as their emotions guide them, which I think is probably one of the most frilly, hippy dippy bullshit things that I've ever heard. The funny thing is that most of these people who would advocate for gender fluidity and its validity also do feel that biology, the biological gender roles, it's just childbirth, etc., and their natural finding in society, not forced, but natural finding, is invalid. Ironically, reinforce this stereotype by including the belief of gender fluidity in themselves. It sort of helps them lineate to define uh, their existence in one form or another.
I like what I'm trying to say is that I'm coming from like a family where I'm coming from like a time where like things were a little bit like simpler, where there was like where there was just like boys and girls. It was just simple as that. There wasn't like more and more like people making more and more every day, depending on how they want to appeal to everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want to have their social pecking order.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, being 19, born in 97, I was born on the ass end of the simple era, at least in modern, recent times as well, so I know where you're coming from.
Like I will respect people if they want to be. It's their life. They can live however the fuck they want
Of
to,
course,
but
of
it's
course.
just. Oh, hold on.
Have guests over? You're
Sorry about
welcome
that.
in.
I just wanted to get to a place that was a little bit more quiet
No, that's quite
because I was
alright.
right next to my room, so
Ah.
you can hear talking. But like, I will respect someone if it's their life. They can live however they want to.
Of course, of
I will
course.
respect it, but when you try to force me to like try to make me learn it, or else I'm like this homophobic bigot.
Yeah,
That's why I have a problem.
I agree. What they're doing is they're trying to foxhole you by introducing this concept that is unknown and foreign and really quite silly, even beneath the surface, and then present you with your X, Y, and Z card if you don't follow this and this. Uh, and that all that really does is drive people away who aren't extremely submissive to others' ideas.
It just pushes me away from it because I come from a small simple town
Same.
where everyone knows your name, everyone knows what you've done, what you said, and everyone has their own opinions on things. But if you just make one slip up, then you're pretty much like the prime target of everyone.
Same here.
And it's hard to have somewhat of like an idea nowadays because
Yeah,
you can make so much of an impact, whether it be positive or negative.
of course.
And so, like, sometimes I kind of keep things to myself to an extent, but when there's somewhat of a line that has been crossed, I need to speak out. I may upset someone, but nowadays feelings don't really matter to me because feelings don't over facts.
Override.
Take this though.
Yeah, yeah. This really recalls a very good Christopher Hitchens quote. Let me look that up real quick so I don't butcher it. Here it is. It's if someone tells me that I've hurt their feelings, I say, I'm still waiting to hear what your point is. In this country, I've been told that's offensive, as if those two words constitute an argument or a comment. Not to me, they don't. And I'm not running for anything, so I don't have to pretend to like people when I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that is a defining principle to hold in this era. I think it is absolutely essential to anybody who wishes to wield any sort of real idea, any real substance. Because no matter what you say, you'll always find a crowd that'll detest you for it, out of out of just sheer principle, without any foundation necessarily to back it.
Like we just live in like a place where like we have to put away facts because they might hurt someone's feelings.
Absolutely. I think that is another defining characteristic of this era. I know exactly what you're talking about, especially because I personally live in the Bible Belt in, as I mentioned, Kentucky. So, if you speak out against any of the big players around here, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. And we've got like churches on every corner. We've got well, pretty much everyone going to them, coming from them. Everyone who's really got any say around here has an affiliation with it at the very least. So, as you might expect, religiosity is very integral to this region. So, to speak out against that would earn you quite a few enemies. Thankfully, I am not one such who is easily hurt by the lack of appreciation of what is being said, if it's factual.
Right.
So, what about you? What are some of the big things you wouldn't be able to talk about over in Massachusetts?
One of the things that like in Massachusetts is it since it's more of democratic things, more of a democratic state. They more lean towards democratic views and more of feminists,
So, the regressive leftist principle,
regressive.
more authoritarian leftism.
Yeah, yeah, we can call it that.
Yeah, they. It's a very ugly side of the left, really. It really is. Cancer, I might even call it. So, so what do you have going on over there? Because over here in Kentucky, we're sort of in the middle grounds. We have a weird collection of both. We have more of a traditionalist leaning over here, more of a right leaning, but it's not overwhelming in most areas, at least in the public.
Oh, we got protests everywhere.
Jesus Christ. What about
everywhere.
the election?
Election, the North Dakota pipeline. There's
Ah,
protests for like everything nowadays.
why are they protesting in Massachusetts though? That's quite a bit away from North Dakota, isn't it?
Well, Massachusetts does. They do have a somewhat of a minimum population of Native Americans.
All right, sure. So
I mean,
let's host
I mean,
protests.
I myself, I'm like about 164th, but I don't go out and protest about a pipeline
Yeah.
that says somewhat somehow it's going to destroy America, where there's been several fucking
What?
pipeline breaks in the states itself.
No. Anyone who makes that argument is absolutely retarded. The main issue that's actually relevant is that it'll potentially ruin the water supply in the event of any leakages. And there's quite a history of oil companies uh, not maintaining their pipelines because there's simply not enough incentive. They get more money simply from just letting it be and cleaning up a few spills here and there than actually going out and maintaining it regularly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real worry. Are there legitimately people out there who are protesting it over just ruining America, quote unquote?
Yes.
Oh my God, kill me, please.
Well, not in my small town per se, but in the large cities like Boston and all that.
You know, these are the people that fuel the necessity for the Reconquista.
Like these are like the type of people that they need a little bit of a life check, reality check.
Yeah, really. If this is the sole reason that you're advocating the halting of the North Dakota pipeline, there are infinitely more practical, actual reasons than it'll ruin America.
There are a lot of things that are ruining America. One, one small thing is not gonna really pretty much poke a hole in it, really.
Yeah, and it's extremely ironic that they're protesting this as opposed to any of the other massive issues.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are a lot of major issues, but they're trying to focus on this one fraction.
Yeah. Not abortion, not the crumbling infrastructure of the United States overall, not the severe unemployment and lack of well-paying uh, jobs that actually yield opportunity for the everyman, uh, even if they go to college. Not the healthcare crisis, not the food shortage that's on the very near horizon, not foreign political tension that's rising higher and higher, especially with Russia and the like. No, none of that. It's the fucking pipeline that's ruining the United States. All right.
I like how we're not talking about like other issues, like say the high percentage of homeless people that there are in the United States. Nah, we just got to put that in the off-topic pile. Like we're not even gonna touch that.
Yeah, that's not the hot news right now. That's not the big, just the headlines. I guess I better stick to the popular stuff. Fucking shoot me, please.
Exactly.
Can I get Allahu Akbar? Take me out of this world, guys. Come
Nah, I can't leave this world yet. I want to see it burn.
on. Well, hang around a riot area long enough, and I'm sure you will.
Funny thing is with the election and all that, they are technically going through the 5 stages of grief at this point. The first one is
Yeah.
what's the first one? Anger.
I I had a health class relating to this. Let me
It
just
was like
Google image it
anger,
real quick.
denial, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
All right, I got it pulled up here. It's shock and denial, anger, depression and attachment, dialogue and bargaining, and acceptance.
So we went through, what was the first one?
That would be shock and denial. And of
So
course,
denial would
these are
be,
extremely fluid. You can go back and forth at
mhm.
any point in time. You can even be
So
between them.
right now we're pretty much getting close to the depression part because we've already went through the anger part, which was hashtag not my president. We
Yeah.
were in the denial part. We were in the we were at the anger part,
Yeah.
which was hashtag love Trump's hate. And then we're at the bargaining part, which was hashtag recount. And now we're just waiting for depression and acceptance.
Yeah. Well, I dare say a lot of people were depressed. I was not happy at the time myself. But, I wouldn't have been either if Hillary was elected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pointless at this point. What happened to the whole we will accept the results of the election? Whatever happened to that?
Well, that goes out the window as soon as it's inconvenient.
As soon as uh their person doesn't win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, oh yes, we will accept the results of the election. Trump wins. Recount. Hashtag not my president. Hashtag fuck Trump. Hashtag like people need to grow up at this point.
Yeah. If they really, really hated Trump, they would seek to impeach him.
Also, another thing that annoyed me was the whole I'm gonna move to Canada. I'm gonna move to Spain. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna move out of the country because my my guy didn't win.
I think it's a
And
bit deeper than that. Of course, for a lot of people, no, that wasn't. That wasn't. There wasn't anything deeper than that. But for many, I think they're really quite afraid of the social echoes that the election either way will produce.
I I can understand to an extent, but I mean, you leaving your country because your guy didn't win. I mean, that's a bit too much in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And oh my god, don't even get me started on the celebrities.
Yeah,
Pretty much half all of them were saying that they would leave the country, and pretty much none of them have at this
yeah.
point.
I mean, of
Like
course they wouldn't. All of their roots are here.
exactly, especially with the whole Amy Schumer bullshit,
Yeah.
where she says, "Oh, I'm gonna leave the country," and once Trump wins and all that, give it a little bit of time, and she goes, "Oh no, it was just a joke. It was just a joke."
Well, if we're being honest here, Amy Schumer is a joke.
And one of the
I
things, like Amy Schumer's entire career is being based off of being a slut. That's what her whole career was based off of. And now she has this whole feminist thing where it was like, oh, you can't slut shame me, you can't do this, you can't do that.
yeah. I personally don't have any issue with anybody wanting to be a hoe, but
Yeah, I ain't got an issue with it
but
because
also
it's not my thing.
but also don't try and make an excuse for it. Just accept it. You wanted the dick and or pussy, and you got it
Yeah,
in abundance. Good for you. You hopefully you walked away without any crippling diseases. Have a nice life. But don't try and turn it into some sort of political rally.
right.
Like, have your
Well,
fun and move the fuck on.
funny thing about the whole with like Amy Schumer is when she did that Bud Light commercial where it was like talking about the wage gap and all that with Seth Rogen. Bud Light's entire company went down because of the went down a big percentage because of those commercials,
Oh
and
yeah.
their opponent Budweiser was somehow was getting more money because of it,
Oh yeah.
and so they had to completely cut the commercials and take them off because of it, because of how much of a damage and a hole that Bud Light's pockets were making at this point.
Yeah. Like, it's a moronic idea. It's absolutely just off the wall that you would attempt to attach some sort of feminist leftist political view to beer.
To beer where it's which where like beer's main demographic is mostly male. I'm not saying that women can't drink the beer.
Oh, of
It's
course.
just it's the commercials for it are more directed towards a
It's
male
the fact of the
audience.
matter. There's no getting around it. It's just a hard and fast fact. It's marketed to men, mostly middle class, middle lower class white dudes.
Pretty much that want to have a good time. Like it's more directed towards like males in a young demographic where they don't care about politics, they don't care about this, they just want to have a good time.
Exactly. No one who's going out to get fucking piss water Bud Light, I don't think, is giving a shit about Amy Schumer
No.
and her political agenda. That is just the opposite of who you are marketing to.
It's just a sad world we live in at this point. I remember when like I was a little baby and things were much different. We didn't have cares in the world, and now growing up and seeing how life is, I'm just looking at myself. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, yeah. With less ignorance comes more uh, necessity for acceptance. I feel, and
Exactly.
willingness to make an effort to change things. Hopefully for the better.
We all hope for the better, but it doesn't work out in the end.
Well, you know it takes more than hope. That's the real thing.
Yes, exactly.
That's the bit of the memo a lot of people don't get. They simply wish to will something into existence, and that doesn't exactly work.
Hmm.
It requires vision and action, and especially on the left side with the PC police bullshit. Thankfully, they didn't get that memo. Because at least with the right, you know what they're gonna do. The left is just batshit insane sometimes. And this is coming
Yeah,
from a left leaner.
yeah. Like at this point, the left has kind of gone out of hand, but also the right has too. I mean,
Oh,
both sides have
absolutely.
gone out of hand at this point.
See, the thing is, at least historically, political events are very much like a Newton's cradle. Once
Hmm.
you have a big hit on one side, it'll swing back to the other. Now, the actually horrifying and actual sides that you need to look out for are the up and down, and not necessarily the left to right. The horseshoe effect is a strong one. Oftentimes, in the end, they'll end up with different approaches to the same issues. They'll take into mind the facts and come to different conclusions, to varying degrees of good and bad. but it's really the totalitarian, authoritarian sorts and the anarchistic variety that you really have to watch out for. Because those are the sorts that'll fuck you.
Exactly. Like you have to go through life with dealing with facts. You can't just go through life and just care about, oh, I'm gonna hurt this person's feelings. I can't say this. You have to say facts. Yes, it will upset people, but feelings are not going to better facts because we live in reality. We don't live in the fucking safe space. We don't live in safe spaces.
Exactly. Your opinions on the facts are irrelevant so long as they don't line up with the facts.
Right.
Your subjective view of things will never eclipse concrete reality. So much as you may wish it, it simply won't.
Like you have to be more when it comes to certain subjects because there's gonna be the group of people who want to stop you from saying your opinion because you're going to hurt someone's poor little feelings.
Or more often, their agenda.
Exactly.
That's when the real vitriol comes out. Whatever they're emotionally and perhaps even financially and socially invested into. That's where the real anger and knee jerk reaction comes out.
Right. Exactly.
Alright. Well, it's been about an hour. Do you want to end the stream?
I'm sorry. What?
It's been about an hour. Do you want to end the stream? I'm sure it sounded like you had guests in your living room.
Nah, it's my brother's friend. He just showed up. So,
I see.
but
Well,
I mean, I think we kind of tackled a couple of things. I did learn, a couple of new things from you. So
of course, and I did from you as well.
exactly.
That's the real value in conversation. Alright. Well, do you have any final words?
Um, don't go through life caring about people's feelings because if you just live your life worrying about how people are going to feel about you, then you're just gonna live life in a shell because you're just gonna be afraid to even speak to anyone about any type of standpoint on anything in life. So don't be afraid to say what you want because if you don't, then you just gotta live in fear, and that's not what life is about. Life is about taking on challenges.
Exactly. Confidence in what you believe in is integral.
Exactly.
And if it's indeed incorrect and doesn't prove to be accurate and factual, then you must change to fit the according fact, the information that you hold and know is true.
Always challenge people.
Precisely. Alright. Well, I appreciate you having this stream with me, Benihara.
Yeah, no problem.
Alright, everyone. This has been Bitchin' with Bennie. All over various facts and topics ranging from feminism to uh, uh, the North Dakota Access Pipeline. And this has been Xilver with a Z.